What if I could make being active a little easier? Well, today I'm going to give you a tool that makes being active a little easier, more automatic, and a long lasting change. What's that tool? Habits. I want you to think about your morning routine for a second. What's the last time you had to think about brushing your teeth? Most of the time, you don't even have to think about brushing your teeth because it's a habit. Wouldn't it be nice to make physical activity that easy? Well, we actually can make physical activity a little easier. But first, we need to understand what a habit is and what makes a good habit. So, a habit will consist of three things: a cue, a response, and a reward. The cue, sometimes called the anchor, is something in your environment or part of your routine that triggers the response. The response is the behavior you like to do as a result of that cue. And to make this behavior stick and become a lasting habit, we need a reward. A reward is something that's small and satisfying that you do after you do this behavior. Think of even a little fist bump or a smile as a reward. Let's go back to brushing your teeth. Why is brushing your teeth such a strong habit? Well, we have a pretty strong cue, whether that be getting up and then when we're in the bathroom the first time of the day, the cue is to brush our teeth, or whatever that morning routine is. The response is we brush our teeth, and the reward is that feeling of our clean teeth. We can apply this cue, response, reward framework to make physical activity a habit. But before that, let's consider what makes a good habit. To become a habit, we need to have MAP conditions. MAP is motivation, ability, and a prompt. So motivation, that when you pick your habits that you want to do, that you need to be motivated to do them. So remember in your goals that we had attainable and relevant. We want that same thing to be your habits. We want them to be things that you're passionate about and things you want to do. For ability, we need to have the ability to do the habits. A special consideration when it comes to habits is that we have to be able to respond to that cue. For an example, if we're trying to get into a habit of standing more at work, if we're not actually able to respond to a cue that we create in the environment, such as work restrictions or something else, then that's not going to become a habit. We need to be able to actually do that behavior in response to that cue. Lastly, we need a prompt. To become a habit, we need a cue or a prompt. And that's something that's going to be signaling the activity. These can be environmental or behaviors. What I mean by environmental is it's something specific, a place or a room, maybe even a sound or alarm, something that's outside or around you, and that triggers the habit. A behavior cue is if you already have the routine, then piggybacking onto that behavior. And so once you do this one activity, then you're doing this next activity. Example could be that you probably already do is that while you're brushing your teeth, you turn on the water for the shower just out of habit, because the cue of brushing your teeth then prompts the next habit of turning the shower knob. So with those things in mind, I want to emphasize a couple of things that are the key to success. First is that habits take time. Even the simplest habits can take 2 weeks to form. And so a simple habit might be drinking water every time you sit down at your desk. And so that's really easy behavior. So a more complex habit, including things like exercise or physical activity, can take months to form. And if you get too complex a behavior, it might not form at all. So if you're trying to make running a habit, it might not always feel automatic. You'll still have to think about doing it. Small habits can go a long ways, and they require less motivation. So especially if you're lacking motivation, consider making your habit even simpler. Those big habits will take a lot more motivation, a lot more time to develop, so those are going to be more challenging to put into place. So be consistent. Habits form when we consistently have the same behavior over and over to that cue or anchor. Habits won't feel automatic right away. They take time, effort, and focus. But over time, you'll find that it takes less and less effort, time, and focus. It'll become very automatic. Okay, today we talked about how habits work, how the structure of habits work, and what makes up good habits. Next week, we're going to talk about how to actually plan and make those habits part of your routine and help you accomplish your goal. For next time, I would like you to look at some of the examples of habits down below this video and have a couple in mind that help accomplish your goal and things you might be interested in trying. And then that will make you ready for the next video and that planning. And so take a look, brainstorm some ideas, and I'll see you next time.